And the question everyone's asking, was it a good show? And that is a very good question, and in this review I'm going to go through each match and kind of find out, in my opinion, is it a good show or not. Obviously it had a 4-match card, turned into a 5-match card, obviously both of the men's and the women's Money in the Bank matches. Obviously you had the Intercontinental titles on the women's and men's Intercontinental titles were on the line, as well as the big main event with obviously John Cena and Logan Paul teaming up to go against was it Cody, Rhodes and Jey Uso in the main event. So a lot to talk about. So yes, let's go and dive straight in to this review. But before we do that, please like and subscribe if you like my wrestling reviews. Again, I plan to do more of these in the future. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. But yes, let's dive straight in to we're talking about Money in the Bank and talk about the first match on the card, the women's Money in the Bank match. Let's talk about it. So to kick off Money in the Bank, they started with the women's Money in the Bank. 6 women fighting it out to find out who's going to win this year's get that Money in the Bank briefcase. Obviously we had there was Alexa Bliss, we had Julia, we had Rhea Ripley, we had Rosa Perez, we got Stephanie Veneer and Naomi, all fighting it out to find out who's going to win that Money in the Bank briefcase. This match was again a good start to the show. It was really, I like the energy. It was a bit more slower paced, and obviously the men won later in the night. I kind of like the good mix of styles in this match, in the sense it's got like 3 kind of like, you wouldn't say legends, but kind of like, experience for like Naomi, Alexa Bliss, and obviously Rhea Ripley, and then obviously had the kind of newcomers and Julia, Roxanne Perez, and obviously Stephanie Veneer. If I pronounced them all correctly, I do not know. But yes, obviously so it's like mixed between old and new, so it's kind of like a good balance, in my opinion anyway. Obviously the big storylines were going into this, was it obviously stuff like Rhea Ripley has not won a Money in the Bank before. You obviously had Naomi, it is the 5th, so it's going to be a 5th chance at the cherry. Obviously we had, Stephanie Veneer, obviously with 3 matches in 3 days. I think they've kind of really bigged up, kind of, again, I get what he done, it's big it up. Kind of be a situation of like, look at this woman, she can wrestle like 3 days in a row and still be doing amazing stuff in this match. But yes, and there was amazing stuff in this match. Again, the tempo was quite good. It was a little bit off there with a couple of setups. I think there was one early on where I think it was Julia and Perez were kind of teaming up. Used to be a team, I think, and they kind of like put Rhea Ripley into the ladder and kind of tried to use it, but the legs wasn't working, so it kind of like looked a bit slow. There was a couple of like kind of setup moves that kind of look a bit sluggish, if I was going to be a bit picky, but yeah, I mean, had some good moments. Obviously had that, I think there was one earlier, I think Rosa Perez kind of was a standout in this one, as well as Julia, but Stephanie Veneer, like all the newcomers had their moment to shine and looked really good. I think one of the favourite ones, I think, from my opinion, like a bit, favourite bits about this match is obviously Veneer, like kind of climbing onto kind of Julia, or like Julia done this thing, was like spider thing, holding onto her. That was really cool. Obviously we had a cool little thing at the top where they're both kind of hitting kind of their moves. Like I think they bridged them, or the 2 ladders. Obviously you had Alexa Bliss hitting the cobweb on Naomi on one ladder, and then you had obviously Perez hitting her finisher basically as a cobweb basically on Stephanie Veneer on the other side. That was a cool little setup, like a big moment. Obviously we had a nice little thing where both Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss hitting their finishers on Perez and Julia. We've obviously going into this match, obviously a lot of people put the favourites. Alexa Bliss was on the line, on the name, was Rhea Ripley is always a favourite in any match like this. No one's really going for, I was, obviously Naomi would be the obvious pick, and I put Naomi to win this one. But I just loved it, they had some cool moments. The only thing I would put on this match is like the atmosphere was off. I don't know if it was just because obviously if you look, there were empty kind of seats in there. I mean, obviously we know WWE's troubles at the moment, and obviously we know about how much their ticket prices, so it wouldn't surprise me. And I think they moved this venue, I think, so it's kind of probably messed up everything. But yeah, I mean, well, I can sit there and say obviously that's beat around the bush, obviously a good 25-minute match, but obviously Naomi won this match and is Miss Money in the Bank, and kind of well deserved. I think it was the right call here. I kind of like that she's the only one out of this all that needs to the briefcase, because obviously her heel turn. Obviously everyone else has kind of got their own story, or just on the up, or like Rhea Ripley doesn't need a Money in the Bank cash in to become world champion again. Alexa Bliss doesn't need that kind of rub. Naomi does, So I think it makes perfect sense in my eyes. But obviously it ended with, I think it was Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss climbing the ladder. Then obviously Naomi pushed them over. Alexa Bliss went crashing into the ladder bridge, or the two on the side. And then you got Naomi climbing the ladder with no one around, reaches the top, grabs the briefcase, and becomes this year's Money in the Bank winner. I hope it's a thing. One thing I wish I don't think they've done it more quick cash-ins. I hope they can leave this to go. You know, let this be a thing that keeps going and going. They have done it the last couple of years. I think Liz Morgan's one was very kind of took time. I just like long, kind of briefcase holders, because then you can kind of build up to that. I mean, the problem with the briefcase sometimes is they used to book it is they kind of forgot about you. They didn't remember you, and then all of a sudden you just launched into the world title scene, and then what shocker, no one believes you because they're not building you up with the briefcase. That's what I would do, but yeah, well, perfect example. I've got an idea they done New Japan, I think, in the pandemic. It's not like a crazy idea, but I like the idea of you have to defend the briefcase like a title, and you've got to defend it. So that means you keep winning and winning and winning. So you have to keep earning yourself, having a briefcase, and I think, and also makes the holder have something to do other than just I've got a briefcase and I'm just going to wait around until the moment shines. So this, I don't know, just a bit more proactive, in my opinion. But yes, obviously Naomi won. I really great choice. Best up, I think. Yeah, she needed this. Her character since she's turned heel has been amazing. I really enjoy the kind of promos. It seems like she's just naturally a heel. So it looks like maybe they've been holding her back for years being like a face. So she's a very good heel. And but yes, obviously the one problem with this, obviously, if it had an off bit, was the pacing was a bit off. And also, yeah, there were a couple of, they didn't have that kind of, they wanted to, but didn't have the massive moments that would make it stand out. But it was a good solid start to the show. There's nothing to complain about in the sense that they tried to tried to put everything into this match, and it's really fun. But obviously the right person won, so in a way everyone's happy. So, but yes, obviously Naomi's won, and I can't wait to see. Obviously we're recording this after Raw, so I'm not quite sure what they're doing with if anything happened on that show. Obviously we'll probably watch it after recording this review. But yes, obviously Naomi's winner, and I can't wait to see what they do with the briefcase. So let's talk about the match that was added on. Was earlier of the day, obviously when Money in the Bank was on, obviously at Worlds Collide. So obviously the Intercontinental Championship was on the line, and that was Dominik Mysterio defending against Octagón Jr. So yeah, so let's talk about that match. So the Intercontinental Championship was on the line with Dominik Mysterio defending his title against Octagón Jr. As we said just before the intro, and yeah, I mean this was a match kind of set up at Worlds Collide, kind of like just impromptu, because obviously a lot of people were saying, well, it's only 4 matches on Money in the Bank. It's very strange, but they added this match late on, and it was obviously, again, it was one of these matches. Okay, cool, I don't mind that when you have matches that blue. It obviously does put a bit of spontaneity, a bit of craziness on there and spontaneity on there, but I personally just like things structured, but that's just me personally. But anyway, this obviously Dominik Mysterio has been an interesting champion. Obviously he's kind of, for me opinion, he's kind of proven that his character work at some point is amazing, but I like in his ring work has really improved since he's been Intercontinental Champion. Obviously I don't watch it every week, so maybe it has been a gradual process, but I've really enjoyed his kind of work at the moment. But obviously this match feels like it was only 5-ish minutes. It was quite short, quite 5-10 minutes I think it was, very short match, and pretty much it was just to get, in my opinion, it kind of feels like to get Dominik Mysterio on the card, and also show off obviously Octagón Jr. obviously from AAA. Obviously it's the oldest trick in the book where basically everyone, the match is basically to show how good this Octagón Jr. guy is, and kind of, but then Dominik Mysterio is still not going to lose the Intercontinental title on the show. So it wasn't like that, it was just a good win. Dominik Mysterio looked good, everyone looks good. Yeah, basically, there's nothing really crazy to talk about in this match in the sense of what's going on. I mean, you also had Octagón Jr. doing his really cool kind of springboard, I think, was it moonsault early on? Yeah, I mean, the pace wasn't as great, obviously, but then it was a slow match. Basically, they were just, it wasn't, but yeah, little things like that. But I don't know more to say to this, to be fair. It's I like the idea of Dominik Mysterio kind of being obviously the thing about, deadbeat dad, Rey Mysterio, and obviously with the, application of acquiring at AAA, I would put him on there, I mean, I don't know what their mid-card title is in AAA, so forgive me if I'm getting that wrong, but I don't know, I mean, make him go away for a while, make him, go to that, promotion and kind of build yourself up as, going against really good luchadors. Obviously, you could sit there and say that's ripping off kind of El Grande Americana or Jack Gable storyline. That's kind of what they're trying to do here. But I don't know. I mean, I think Dominik he's more charismatic, and obviously it's more more about his lineage, so it'll be more interesting. But yeah, I mean, Dominik is actually killing it right now, Intercontinental Champion. Loving his character work, loving this story like tiff between Roseanne Perez, and obviously the whole thing where she's trying to get to Dom because Dom seems to be the ladies' man. I don't get it. What's your secret, Dominik? Please tell us all. So you got that. So obviously we all know it's kind of Finn Balor's kind of big plan to kind of to send from within. So obviously he's saying he's all good, but he's still kind of pissed with Dominik for what he did at WrestleMania. So that's where the story everything's going to go. But yes, good again. I would say, is it worthy of putting on the Money in the Bank match? Probably not. It would have been. You could have easily done this on last night. Easily, just sit there and say we'll set up a match and then pick one of the ones that they had on Raw and then put them on. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a thing that's you can just shoehorn into the show. And also, Money in the Bank's one of the biggest shows of the year, and you do this, it feels a bit off in my opinion. But anyway, it's just it's just me anyway. But yes, so I said, short match, done the job. Dominik Mysterio gets the win, easy win for him, good for him. Octagón Jr. looks great. People see how good he is in the ring. Obviously, interesting what they do AAA under WWE's umbrella, and yeah, everyone wins. So yeah, nothing really crazy. Nothing. Never going to go back and kind of watch this match, but it done what it needed to do, so it's fine. But yes, obviously we talked about the men's Intercontinental Championship. Let's talk about the women's. Let's talk about Lyra Valkyria going against Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Yes, let's talk about this match because I really enjoyed this one. Women's Intercontinental Championship was on the line with Lyra Valkyria going against Becky Lynch, and with an added stipulation with obviously if Lyra won, Becky can't challenge for the Intercontinental Championship while she is champion, but obviously if Becky won, obviously she wins the title, and Lyra has to raise her hand to show that she is the better woman. And yeah, I was kind of interested in match this was, because going in, obviously I didn't know the stipulation. I thought, well, it's a bit cheap. They basically, everyone knows in kind of wrestling circles, it's basically like if you have two or three matches is usually a good run for like, storytelling of like matches, usually 2, maybe 3. Normally when you have one match, it's just singles match. The second match is normally got a stipulation on it. And I saw this and I thought, oh no, that was no stipulation. But then obviously they found out that they added that one, and I'm like, okay, I like this. But all I can say about this is, I'm really like, it's pretty much the same as the Backlash one. I love this feud. I really do. I really like this match. I really like like it's perfect example of a storyline. Or like I've been basically the veteran is actually, she's still getting her heat, still getting her, but obviously the person that she's fighting is also, it's like still getting, not looking weak. Like if you look at these two matches, obviously they've had back to back. Obviously we talk about basically like everyone's it's like it's well constructed. It's really good. It's kind of, obviously I really have huge respect for Becky Lynch, but this match is kind of upped it for me as a kind of respect of like when you think of everyone that's kind of like takes, like when you get to a veteran and they kind of help up the younger guy, the younger women, build up. It's like some people it's ego, and obviously we all know certain people that we don't talk about ego. But Becky Lynch it never feels like that because she always goes against people that need it, and yeah, she does win and at times. But in this feud, just like, yeah, I think both have come out looking quite good. Like if the aim of this feud was like Lyra to get over and kind of people look how good she was, it's worked. And if it's to build up Becky as this force and integrate it back into the kind of WWE, like was it women's scene, it's worked as well. So yeah, happy days for everyone. But as for the match, again, really good. I'm loving the crowd were really into this. Obviously the first 2 matches people were a bit off. I don't know if it was just because what was going on, but I don't know. But I think this is the match when people really got in, because they was really rooting for Lyra and they're really a big fan of Becky Lynch. But yeah, so obviously I like about this match is he had a lot of counters. I think I really like the kind of each other so well that it's kind of counter. I kind of like a little stat they said on commentary with obviously Becky has had 5 title matches and she's lost them all in the last 5 matches she's been. That's kind of a nice little setup that basically Becky's winning here. I mean, obviously the woman, obviously she's 2-0 against Lyra, so like it's not a situation it's like being on one side. It's like the heel and the kind of veteran is on the back foot in this match and in this feud because she can't beat this woman. kind of like. That's why I think it works, because it's like now when she wins in this match and she won it, it just works because it doesn't feel like it's being like, you know, veteran taking a spot. It's more of a, she's had to really work to beat her. She had to resort to almost cheating to beat her, so it wasn't like anything like a clean win. It's always kind of old school healing. I like it, but yeah, but obviously, as I said, like the pace. But I think Lyra's, again, showed how good she is in this match. I mean, I think there was an impressive strength with like suplex like, from the middle turnbuckle, and then she went into like nice little fist win suplex early on. Was it 4-2? I kind of like this kind of thing. Obviously, Lyra hit like kind of like that. What was it, leg drop that Becky does, but on the barricade, on near the Spanish announce table where the ringside area is. I kind of like the kind of what was it, manhandle slam from the second rope from Becky that obviously near full. That was really cool. We obviously had that thing with on the outs when she done on the outside, when she kind of put her into the ring ropes, into the post, and then hit manhandle slam. But then obviously she still was able to counter that. But obviously the match ended with a similar to the finishing kind of. When I think about it, it's actually a really good finish, obviously, because in the Backlash match, they had a thing where it was pinfall after pinfall, you know, the roll-up pinfall. But obviously Lyra was just able to get enough to get that 3 count. In this match, it proves that Becky's learned about that, so she's resorted to cheating. Like, obviously she didn't get a lot of the tights when she got the 3 count, but yeah, I mean, but obviously it makes sense. She's the bad guy. She's the heel, so she's going to resort to cheating to get the advantage. And yes, and she wins, and it becomes the second only women's Intercontinental Champion in Becky Lynch, obviously. But yeah, obviously at the end of the match, we had Lyra had to raise the hand of Becky Lynch, but Becky Lynch couldn't let it go. She had to go, okay, now you've got to sit there and do it again and show it, you know, 4 corners of the ring, and then you've got to put the title around my waist. And yes, and obviously Lyra had enough of this. She took it too far, I think, Becky, and obviously she hit a German suplex on her, and her finishing Nightwing on Becky Lynch to end the match. Obviously Becky with Wade Barrett was saying that she was sore loser. I mean yeah, but I just like the idea that's like, yeah, she went too far. All she has to do is do one thing, stand what she was told, the stipulation of the match, and then go. But Becky took it too far, and Lyra had enough and took her out. It's fine. It's cool. I like it. But yeah, obviously said, great. I really enjoyed this match. Obviously, I would say it's up there as match of the night if it wasn't for the next match we'll talk about. But I really enjoyed this match. 15 minutes of good wrestling, 2 good women. Nacho was so well, putting on some really cool, engaging pro wrestling. And I think Becky, the way it's set up, when you put a stipulation where basically you are the only one left, or a stipulation where you are, if you don't win, you don't get a title shot, and all the stats they're putting up as her being like 5-0 in championship matches, 2-0 against Lyra overall, it was setting up as Becky was going to win it. So it made sense. And obviously Lyra's, I think she can move up to the world title scene, or she's definitely a star that the crowd have got behind. So it's kind of worked for everyone. They've been interested to see Becky Lynch as champion. Obviously now it's going to be interesting. Obviously they've got a lot of good women coming up from NXT to maybe go against Becky for that title. So it's looking good for the women's division, I think, in my opinion. When it comes to the mid-card, at least, it's actually quite exciting. I'm actually intrigued to see where it goes, personally. Yes, obviously after that we'll talk about the other Money in the Bank match, and that is the men's. Obviously, interesting stuff. Certain things happened. We'll have to talk about it. So yes, let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Let's go. So let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, with obviously 6 competitors fighting out to win that briefcase and have a chance of cashing in on a world title match over the next 12 months. Yes, obviously we had 6 competitors. You had Seth Rollins, kind of the favourite, going in. You had Penta, you had El Grande Americana, aka Chad Gable. Obviously was it Andrade, Sokoa, and LA Knight. Yeah, obviously I had to say it. Had to be done. But yes, obviously going into this match was obviously Seth was kind of the favourite going in. A lot of people predicting he was going to win it. I was going to at first put LA Knight because I like LA Knight. I really want him to win. But obviously Seth Rollins, I think when I thought about it, only one makes sense. But yeah, that was the thing going in. But when it comes to this match, though, it was just so action-packed. It was exactly what a Money in the Bank match should be. It had everything. It had the big moments, you know, the big spots, the oh my god, what's going on, the kind of people climbing ladder, people going, yes, can he win it, can he win it. You had all that stuff. Obviously, we obviously talk about the stuff near the end that kind of, you could sit there and say ruined it a little bit, or the momentum at least. But when it comes to the match into that point, it was really action-packed, fun, really cool. Fast-paced, starting on. I like the thing at the beginning where everyone's kind of surrounding Seth, except for obviously El Grande Americana, kind of staying away, kind of going after Seth, because obviously he's kind of beat, I think like on the SmackDown he kind of turned on them, so it's kind of revenge. I like the idea that Sikoa was like kind of, yeah, you deserve that, and then turns around and they turn on him. Really funny. Then we had a kind of thing with a dive on the outside about Andrade. It was really fun, like, you know, really sad. I actually forgot he was in this match. But obviously, weird thing one thing I've got to mention is, what was Wade Barrett talking about? Because obviously the joke is obviously, we all know it's Jack Gable, but obviously Marco seems to be the only sane one around. But he's the one saying, well, this is proof. Those boots are the same as the boots as Chad Gable, and everyone's defending it. But it was really weird where Wade Barrett was like, whoa, El Grande's Americana's like nipples are like different to Chad Gable's, and everyone was like, it's like that turn your head moment, like, what are you on about, Wade? Anyway, like, hey, whatever you want to, I'm fine. It's fine, no judgment here. But weird, man. And little thing, obviously Wade kind of was on fire in this match when it comes to commentary. I think he said, like, they were going about, you know, the Gulf of America, you know, the thing with Trump, that, whatever you think about that. But obviously, you know, it's Mexico. No, it's this. Like, no, Wade's right. It's Mexico, people. Let's get it right. You know, the voice of reason, except for when it comes to nipples. It's really weird. Really strange. Had to point it out. But yeah, obviously, again, great kind of bridge spots on the ladder. I think the one that kind of like really was the standout for me was that obviously that really amazing Mexican destroyer from Penta on Andrade on that kind of bridge, you know, thing. Looks really cool, really awesome. Yeah, obviously we had the kind of fireball ladder. Whatever you think about, you know, was it sponsorship in WWE? Obviously there's a lot of things like the cash apps on like the briefcase, and obviously on the ring apron and all that stuff. Whatever you think about that, but they obviously like reinforced all that kind of stuff. That's kind of funny. But yeah, obviously we had called it cool stuff at the top. I kind of like the idea that obviously Chad Gable obviously, oops, no, okay, let's not be around the bush. El Gladi Americana, aka Chad Gable. You know, with him and him and obviously Seth at the top of the ladder. And obviously I like the thing where basically like Seth was it like trying to get beat. Was it El Grande was kind of like using his like kind of ankle lock that looks very similar to Chad Gable. Just saying. But yes, obviously it was really action-packed. Obviously I can't name all the spots because obviously it was so many cool stuff. But after that, I think obviously we had Knight went after, what was it, El Grande, and obviously hit a belly-to-back suplex off the ladder. That was really cool. I think that's like, you know, love that. And yeah, and obviously then we've got a situation of obviously after that Seth was not happy, and obviously the crowd were going holy shit. And then after that, this is when the match kind of lost its momentum and kind of went weird. In my opinion. Yeah, obviously Seth was like, I'm not having this, plan B. But then he obviously got his goons out, obviously Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and basically came in and wrecked the place. Obviously Herb, what was it? Was it Braun Breaker hitting a spear? It seems to be his like trademark spear through the barricade on El Americana. You had Reed pull Penta down and tossed him into the ladder. You had Braun toss, was it LA Knight out of the ring, and then Reed hits a powerbomb on, was it an Andrade, and yeah, obviously we had Braun ran out on kind of over the ring, kind of hit a spear on Knight, and then I kind of like the thing and then hit the tornado with kind of Wade Barrett, kind of big tornado, yeah, like he's good at that. But yeah, but obviously it was like everyone's taken out. I kind of like there was a bit like with Sikoa was like looking what's going on, and they kind of like nice little storyline callback where kind of like, obviously Paul Heyman's like get him, because obviously he's the one who took him out all those time ago. And but obviously then you think, okay, that's one person getting interfered. The next one is obviously then JK Fatu's music came out, obviously with JC, obviously formerly known as Jeff Cobbs. It's always going to call him that because obviously I know for New Japan. Yes, obviously then obviously they had a kind of like this is actually really exciting. I kind of like these two groups are kind of like really cool, you know, up-and-comers. Obviously Braun and Reed going against, was it Fatu and obviously Jeff Cobb, and kind of yeah, they were having a thing, but you would forget that there's an actually ladder match going on. It's obviously not unprecedented, but it's just like it did really kill the momentum. And obviously then it obviously took him out, and obviously Fatu was kind of like, you know, helping Solo Sikoa go up the ladder, and then he was just about, you know, doing a protective, you know, mode, kind of like seeing anyone comes around. So Solo Sikoa looked like he was a shoo-in to become Mr. Money in the Bank, but Jacob Fatu had other ideas, held onto his leg, and kind of went, "I hate you." And then was it Fatu hit a super kick on Solo, and then hit like not one but two of those kind of really double jump moonsaults on him, and then Fatu put a rock bottom or off the apron through that ladder that was bridged like early on in the match, and then connected with a barricade, and then left kind of his so-called former friend. Interesting thing, I don't know if it's wrong, but they make it sound like he's the heel in this, like, oh, he's how dare he. It's like, unless I've read this wrong, I might be wrong, but this was the whole point. Like, Solo Sikoa was kind of like doing the controlling thing, and then like Jacob's kind of gone, no, I want to be by myself now. Maybe that's where it's going, but obviously, like, he's the bad guy, and Solo Sikoa's a heel face. I mean, he was get over, I pointed out early on, but I don't know. But it worked because obviously the crowd love it, so I'm not going to judge it too much. I'm nitpicking this a little bit, but obviously everyone was taken out. No one was around. Obviously, you got Rollins setting up the fireball ladder in the middle of the ring, climbing to the top. But LA Knight, you were thinking, oh, maybe LA Knight could, you know, we all wanted LA Knight to win this basically. Climbing up, but Knight hit, just about to climb, but Rollins pulled LA Knight down, and then Rollins hit him with the stomp when he was on the way down, and then he climbed slowly up the ladder to grab the briefcase, and Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank for a second time, and ended again really action-packed to the point everyone got involved, and it just kind of killed the momentum in my eyes. There are such things. I know it's no disqualification in a ladder match, but it's too much interference. I get it. We're talking about a guy that loves the attitude era, so like, and that's pretty much what it was. But you never had stuff like this. It's like, if there's no more match, whatever. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm changing with age. I don't know, but it killed the momentum in my eyes. But anyway, but enough of that. But obviously, we'll talk about Seth Rollins, obviously Mr. Money in the Bank. Obviously, as we're recording this, obviously the first person you would think Seth would go against would be Jey Uso. Obviously, we'll talk about that more. But obviously, he lost his title, so I was thinking he was going to cash in then. Because obviously, if it's just a way to get him the world title. The question obviously is if you're going to do that quickly as possible and get him as like establish his group as like taken over quite early. But in my opinion, it's like, does he need the briefcase? The answer to the question is no. He did not need the briefcase. Who needed it? LA Knight. Again, 3 in a row. The guy's been over for ages. Obviously, they've been stunting his. Obviously, look back at that feud with Roman Reigns. He was over as hell, and they've just really stunted his growth for some reason. I do not know why. If they think he's not ready, he blatantly is. The guy's good on the mic. I mean, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight match at WrestleMania. I mean, one of the best matches. Like, obviously, like, to the great. Like, he can put on a good match, like, really good. And he's obviously got a style that he can do that kind of at the high pace, but obviously do the slow, old school as well. He's got a good. I like LA Knight. I've always liked him. And the idea that basically, like, he's not in the main event scene, not even close, upsets me a little bit. I gotta be honest. But Seth Rollins didn't need it. He's got Paul Heyman. He could literally go to Paul Heyman and say, "You go to General Manager, get me the match," and he would get the match. He doesn't need it. LA Knight did, because I would think what would be a cool storyline. Also, they could still do this, I guess, without the briefcases. LA Knight's the one that stops. Everyone thinks it's going to be Punk, Roman Reigns, but maybe it's like LA Knight. The guy, he could be the guy that saves us from Seth. Like, he's the one that wins the title, and then it's LA Knight that finally wins the big one, and he is your world champion. Oh, but obviously win Seth, but obviously that's what I would do. I think if just LA Knight can be the conquering heel, hero against this new heel kind of group that's taken over Raw. And I think rumours are that he's moved to Raw, so maybe that's where they're going. But that's what I would do personally. That's what I think. I think LA Knight should have won this, but Seth Rollins, I mean, he'll make it work. Obviously, I do like his group at the moment, so it's gonna. I think it's in the long run, but they've got to do something about LA Knight soon, because the guy deserves to be in the main event scene, to be a world champion. He's worked his arse off for the last couple of years. Probably not even just a couple of years of WWE, like in general. Deserves a shot at the world title and winning it. So hopefully that happens soon this year at least. So yes, a longer match though. It should have been shorter, but overall it was entertainment, and you got what you wanted. So I'm happy in that sense, but I just thought it was a bit off for the pacing. But let's talk about the main event. The World Heavyweight Championship and WWE Champion is in this match. Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes going against John Cena and Logan Paul in a tag team main event. Let's talk about it. So here we are, the main event of Money in the Bank, and it's not the ladder match, it is a tag team match, and none of the world titles are on the line. Interesting choice there, WWE, very interesting choice. But obviously, as I said in the intro before we get to this point, Jey Uso, the world champion at the time of this show, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, and Logan Paul, tag team match. Interesting choice. I mean, obviously they set it up at Saturday Night Main Event. Obviously, I've got a link to that review. I've reviewed that show. Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously like, okay, Jey Uso's obviously been off recently. I don't think he's really hit the stride that we're hopefully. His brain hasn't really worked. Obviously, you've got Cody Rhodes coming back after the WrestleMania defeat at John Cena. John Cena's obviously been, as I've said in a previous video, obviously really liking this. Was really resty. He can insert him into anything. I like that. There's like blaze to it. I like it. And obviously Logan Paul. I'm never going to be a fan of Logan Paul. Obviously, we'll talk about his match. He was really good, and athletically, he was really good in this match. But never going to support the man. So it was just like you had kind of guys that's like kind of there wasn't anything to really lynch onto in my opinion. So like a main event wouldn't be much. I would have personally put this for like third in the card, and then make the Money in the Bank main event is the main event. But anyway, I'm digressing. But yeah, funny thing about this match is just the pace was slow early on. It's really slow. Obviously had Jey Uso and kind of Cody Rhodes kind of control it early, but obviously the tempo changed. I like that people don't want to boo John Cena, so that's why his kind of heel run is weird, because he's forcing himself to be a bad guy when still it doesn't work. Obviously, most of the match was obviously that set up kind of like hot tag for obviously Cody. But obviously had when there was a bit near when it got to that point, obviously had John Cena and kind of Logan Paul having a bit of a tiff. Because Paul tagged himself in, and then John Cena didn't like that, so he tagged himself back in. Them arguing, saying, "I'm trying to teach you something here, kid," and that kind of stuff. And then, but when they were arguing, John Cena Cody Rhodes Jey Uso got the tag on Cody Rhodes, and he came in, diving, obviously, all kind of stuff, hot tag. The pace went up. Obviously had John Cena hitting the adjustment on Cody for 2 because obviously Jey made the save again. The pace picked up. You had Logan Paul trying to hit that buckshot lariat. Obviously he slipped, he kind of didn't land. He doesn't do it right. No one does it like Hangman and Page. He is the guy that's really good at it. I'm sorry, nothing he can do is like he's nicking that, but whatever. But he slipped. Obviously Jey super kicked him. John Cena hit an AA on Jey, and obviously Cody was back up and hit a crossroads on John Cena. But obviously Logan Paul hit a really good springboard splat. I mean, it was very, very good. And then obviously on the outside, all 4 men down in the ring. I think Logan Paul, Jey hit a spear. It's like back, everyone hitting their finishes, all that kind of stuff. High flying, and everyone's on the floor. Really cool stuff. I said action packs. Obviously, we had Logan Paul launched like Cody and hit like a pulverizer that looked freaking devastating. But obviously, the cool thing I think is his camera angle that I really like is obviously when he was being cocky, he was using that kind of drone thing he's been using. I really like, I actually really like that camera. It's unique. I like it. But I kind of like obviously he's using it to the top. He was going to hit a splash on kind of or hit like an elbow drop or whatever, a big move on top. He had the camera and kind of like the Cody. So we turn around, Cody's coming up hitting him with a superplex off the top, and they kept the camera angle of that, so you actually saw it from that angle. It's just, I like that. It's just really cool. I think very unique and cool way to use that. I think it's just really cool. So that was all obviously good stuff. But yeah, obviously the match kind of when it ended with obviously John Cena kind of claiming at the announce table. Obviously the English and Spanish table. Spanish was always going to announce table. That's a joke. It's always going to be taken out. And then obviously he was going to put an AA. He was going to AA Cody, but obviously Cody avoided it. Jey hit the kind of spear onto the counter. The table didn't break. Like I said, Logan Paul did this amazing move, so I'll give him that. On Jey through the table, great spot. They actually broke the table, and Logan Paul looked amazing. But obviously, what this match is going to be remembered for is obviously refs down. I mean, obviously refs too distracted. Obviously because of what just happened. John Cena goes and gets his belt, his trademark. He's going to hit, and he hit Cody Rhodes with the belt. The ref is checking on the guys on the outside, as he said. And then obviously and then just when he looks like he was going to win the match, some hooded figure came along and attacked him. Obviously it was like, who is this guy? And who is it? It is R-Truth. R-Truth is back after being sacked 7 days earlier. And obviously beat the crap out of him. The crowd cheers. Truth hits Cena with the WWE Championship and kind of mentioned that he left the company. And then obviously he runs out for the crowd, and then Cody hits Cena with a crossroads, gets the pin, and pins the WWE Champion. That probably sets up that they're going to have a match at some point. Probably going to be at SummerSlam, because obviously, as recording this, they're setting up John Cena versus CM Punk. Because obviously now, Night and Champ is going to be in Saudi Arabia. I've kind of not watched the Saudi Arabia show, just by pure principle. I really want to watch that match, CM Punk, John Cena. I might have to take my hiatus and have to watch that show, because I need to see that match one last time. John Cena, CM Punk. I need to see that match. But the big story also for this was R-Truth's back. Obviously they're trying to put it across as it was all a work, guys. We got you. It was a shoot. We got you. We didn't win. It was all part of our plan. It's like, nah, mate. Basically, what's happened is you sacked him because you thought he didn't have any value. Saw the backlash with people saying we want truth, and then rumors are that obviously the chairman, I think Khan, he went to him and offered him an offer. So they thought, oh crap, what have we done? So they hired him back, and now they've put him in a storyline where now he's not a joke. He's serious now. He's now Ron Killings, kind of what he was back in the day before WWE, and making him into a serious competitor. And I'm down for this. I'm liking this, but don't insult our intelligence and say this was not. Oh, it's at work. It was all part of the plan. It's fine. You made a mistake. You rectified it. That's fine. But yeah, this wasn't planned. It wasn't. It wasn't. And if it was, you've done a very good job making it like it wasn't. But whatever. It's a cool move. I like it. I like this kind of thing. Obviously now R-Truth, what John Cena did to him, it's kind of made him into a more serious competitor. Obviously that might set up a rematch maybe at some point. Obviously, as I said, Night of Champions probably going to be Night of Champions, but obviously we've got CM Punk, John Cena. Obviously going to be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at SummerSlam, because it's a 2-night event. Probably going to be, maybe he can weed that in there. But yeah, I'm liking. Yeah, finally going to do something with R-Truth, because obviously he's been in comedy commentator and he's been really good at it. But I like the idea. I think SummerSlam commentary might maybe because obviously the joke is with R-Truth, he's always kind of the guy that kind of turns up and said, he comes in was it a Royal Rumble once where he got the ladder trying to get the briefcase, but he forgot it was actually not Money in the Bank match. It's kind of funny, but basically it's like he's forgot that he was even sacked. You just didn't know. But I like this serious side. Obviously we saw, obviously with the cutting off the dreadlocks, it's kind of symbolism as he's serious now and he's gonna, he's gonna do serious stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, that wasn't planned. Let's be honest. But obviously Cody's got the pin against John Cena, setting another match. We said, obviously Logan Paul, okay, why was he in? Yeah, I get it. I mean, whatever. Well, obviously let's talk about the thing with Jey Uso as well. Obviously we're going to be obviously with John, obviously on Raw when I was recording this. Obviously he lost the world title to Gunther. That I was kind of suggesting in my head, thinking okay, maybe the thing is that Jey Uso just beats Gunther again, and obviously Seth cashes in, and then he becomes world champion, and it can be like a Raw after main event. Raw after WrestleMania type deal, where a big kind of finish where. Because that's what it makes sense, because obviously then Jey Uso has been involved in kind of Seth's business. It kind of works with that, but that's how I would have booked it. But again, I like Gunther, and I kind of like that he's won it back quite quickly, because obviously the Jey Uso thing just hasn't worked. I mean, the guy's obviously over and obviously the big crowd, but his in-ability's been pretty poor, to be honest. Obviously that I don't think he was that good in that matchup. He was alright, but it's just the pace was slow. Obviously in this match he was a bit slow as well. I think it's just being world champion and more eyes on him. He's been exposed a little bit, and I think that's probably why it took him, why the shock of taking it off, maybe just to give him time to kind of build up again. So, or something's wrong that we don't know about. But I personally would have not let Gunther. I would have let Gunther loss, and then obviously Jason and Seth cashed in. But that's just me. Yeah, obviously, Jey Uso's been unfortunate. I do like Jey Uso. It's not like a dig at Jey Uso. It's really good. I like his character, kind of like his he was doing some pretty cool promos, I think. But just again, it's the in-ring ability. When you were champion, you've got to like kind of step up a little bit. You've got to be carrying, and he kind of wasn't looking good, and I haven't seen him have a good-ish match. But that's just me. But it sucks, but hopefully this just be like a blip, and then maybe he can win it back at some point after building up again. That's see what happens. But yeah, so obviously that's Money in the Bank. Let's go and put my final thoughts on the whole show and answer the question: was this a good show? Let's find out. So Money in the Bank 2025, as I pointed out at the start of the show, was this a good show? The answer to the question is sort of. Well, basically what it is basically like the women's Money Bank was fun. The Intercontinental Championship match, I would sit there and say it was done what it needs to do, but doesn't mean it need to be on the card. Probably not. Obviously, like with Valkyria and Becky Lynch in the Intercontinental Championship, if it wasn't for that, it's definitely the best singles match of the night. By none. Love this match. Really did like this match a lot. Obviously, probably match tonight is probably going to be the men's Money in the Bank, just because of all the action-packed stuff in there, and obviously the stuff, a lot of stuff that's going on, but just really action-packed. But obviously the main event was kind of meh. I mean, it started off slow, but it did pick up near the end. But yeah, I think it's more about the match had a good finish, and that's usually, even sometimes when a match is not the greatest, if the finish is quite goes where you want it to be, it has a nice little moment, you can kind of, you know, take away the drawbacks basically. But also with our truth, yeah, I don't know. What would I give this as a grade? It's a tough one, because obviously my first reaction, obviously I put like a B+ on the Backlash one, but obviously that was okay because I enjoyed it to a point. I would put, I'm thinking again, I think it's a B-, because obviously I think it's just, I might be being generous there. Obviously some people put a C, because obviously, you know, obviously this is not the best Money in the Bank ever, and obviously it does feel a bit like, it feels like it should have been bigger than it is, but obviously we all know there's stuff going on with WWE now, and financially it's not looking good, that if you look into that. But yeah, probably a B-. So I just think the matches were fine. I just think they had some problems with it, but I enjoyed myself. I still enjoyed this pay-per-view, really. I mean, and that's usually how you gauge a pay-per-view, or like watching wrestling is like, what was it, someone said, like, when you watch stuff like this, did I enjoy it? And the answer to the question is yes. And I think most WWE events I do, because obviously whatever you're thinking about storyline and build up and stuff, I think we've been trained from Vince for so long when he was in charge, that even when he was chucking all this crap at us, you can still find the good in it. You can still find something good that latch onto a match, one feud, something that just makes you go, okay, this is all rubbish, but I can deal with it if this match is good. And I think this is what this is in the moment. Maybe the build-up's been a bit lackluster and it's not been as great, but you can still, like, example like Valkyria, Becky Lynch, that's mine. Go back into that. I like that feud. I like that match. I'm liking the stuff with Seth for the moment. I'm liking little things. Obviously our stuff I don't like, maybe the LA Knight not winning Money in the Bank. Little things like that kind of like. But yeah, I mean, I can still find the good in this. So did I come out of this? Was this a good show? I was kind of say yeah, sort of. But yeah, B+, B- probably what I put. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think of this show. Obviously, I'm intrigued to see if you're happy with LA Knight not winning the Money in the Bank. I think he should have been, but you know, whatever. Obviously, R-Truth back. Let me know what you think about that. All kinds of stuff to talk about. Please let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. I plan to do more reviews in the future. So without further ado, I'm Mysterio, and hope you enjoy my review, and I'll be back next time for, I'm probably going to do Night of Champions, just because I really want to see if CM Punk John Cena is going to be the match. I want to see that match, especially the last one. Has to be watched. I'll have to watch it, so I'll probably be back for the Night of Champions. But anyway, I'll be back for that. Have a great day, everyone, and hope you enjoy my review. So yeah, see you later, everyone. Bye.